Welcome to Generally Speaking for week 2. It's the post-game show. I'm your host, Angelo. Welcome. Make sure you follow me on Twitter at NJ_Generals. New Jersey wins 20-3 in a game they had to have this early in the season. They did not want to fall to 0-2. They did a lot of things right. They did a lot of things that still need to be cleaned up. Let's hear from Coach Mike Riley to kick things off.
Mostly right now, I'm really excited that we won the game. You know, that was that's the ultimate goal, and I thought that was hard fought. I thought that, you know, we seemed to do a lot of good things and then kind of shoot ourselves in the foot and then kind of fight back from it. I thought that we never let up one bit. There was a ton of great defensive stops, defensive plays, defensive playing that really turned the tide. And I thought we ended up getting a little stronger offensively in the second half to get enough points to win the game. That's about what we accomplished with our offense. So, it was great to win. And what we have remembered is these games are all pretty hard.
Some of the good things were 5 sacks. That's half the team's total for all of last year. That's a good thing. I also liked what kicker Nick Skiba is bringing to the table. 2 for 2 on field goals today with a long of 47, considering the troubles that New Jersey had a year ago with their field goal kicking, cycling through 3 kickers. This is very nice to see. It did take the offense a while to get going. They could not generate much in the first half. Part of the credit, of course, goes to the Maulers' defense, but they did get warmed up, as the coach alluded to in his post-game comments. It was a cold day in Canton. It felt more like February or March than it did late April. So it was hardly spring-like conditions. Everybody was bundled up as the wind was kind of whipping through. It was actually snowing during pregame warmups. New Jersey wins the toss. They get the ball first. New Jersey receives the ball to start the game, and DeAndre Johnson is the quarterback under center. Generals beginning with great field position after a nice return by Marcus Green. And the first play was a short pass to Braden Bowman, the tight end on the right-hand side, who took off running and hurdles a tackler to gain like an extra 5 yards on the play down the sideline. Another pass from the 40-yard line to Alonzo Moore, and the Generals right away finding themselves with a first down inside the 20, knocking on the door. Exactly the kind of drive New Jersey needed to start the game. A couple of runs only gained about 4 yards, and then an incompletion, which really should have been picked off. DeAndre getting away with one as Reuben Foster could not hold on to the ball. The drive ends right there, so in comes Nick Skiba to try a 36-yard field goal, and he hits it. New Jersey leads 3-0. 7-play drive, 36 yards, 3 minutes and 53 seconds off the clock. On the ensuing kickoff, the Maulers take over near midfield and manage to get a first down on New Jersey's 47 before the drive stalls and then had to punt. The big play was a Bryson Young sack. It's really great to see him bringing the pressure early in the season. So after the punt, the Generals take over on their own 14-yard line and complete an 11-yard pass on third down to Cam Eccles-Looper and a 4th and 1 conversion to keep the drive moving. Here comes the Generals' first miscue of the day.
Ready, go! Johnson protected much better here. Gets it out to the outside, and that pass is caught by his running back. That's Kingston Davis, who stays in the game. The ball came out, though. As Davis was fighting for extra yards, he lost the football, and now the Maulers dive on top of it.
Kingston Davis hit by Kavaya Tizino, who was all over the place today. The ball comes out, Maulers recover, and they are in business in New Jersey territory. After an incompletion, 3 straight passes to Isaiah Henney, the speedster, moves Pittsburgh to New Jersey's 20-yard line, where the first quarter ends, New Jersey holding a 3-0 lead. In the second quarter, it's all Isaiah Henney now for Pittsburgh with a 6-yard rush and then a 5-yard grab. Maulers on the 7-yard line of New Jersey and threatening to punch it in for a touchdown. Another run and the ball's down to the 1-yard line. However, a false start pushed Pittsburgh back 5 yards. Then a play later with another rush found themselves right back on the 1-yard line. 3rd and goal, a QB rush gained no yards. So on 4th and goal from the 1, the Maulers decide to go for it, setting up the Generally Speaking turning point of the game.
Here we go. Right back on the ball. Same play. Right back up the middle. And Morgan this time, did he get enough of a push? Toby Johnson and company say no. Shalom Luwani was there. Chris Orr was there. Dwan Hines was there. And the Generals think they stumped them, and they did.
Quarterback James Morgan stopped at the 1. Toby Johnson leading the penetration. It was a swarm that met him at the goal line, and he had no chance to get in. New Jersey takes over from their own 1-yard line. Big play in the first half. In comes Dakota Prukop to play quarterback, and here we go again with the dual QBs. A completion and a couple of Darius Victor runs, but the drive stalls there. Generals punting it back. Brock Miller unloading a 52-yarder, so it's Mahler's ball on their own 37, and we've got 8:35 to go until halftime. Troy Williams is in for quarterback now at Pittsburgh, and why not? James Morgan completely ineffective, though. It's not all on him. The offensive line giving him very little time to operate. So the Maulers now put together what eventually was their best drive of the game, moving to the New Jersey 26 before a 3rd down sack by Kenneth Randall forced the Maulers to try a 47-yard field goal, which they hit and tied the game at 3-3 with 2:21 to go until halftime. That sack was huge. Kenneth Randall coming up big again. The new and improved pass rush. Toby Johnson credits Coach Des with that one. The new and improved pass rush, changing things and pushing teams around a little, unlike last year. Teams trading ineffective possessions, and the clock runs out on the half, and we head to the break all knotted up at 3. Only 15 rushing yards at the half for New Jersey and the 1 turnover. They had 13 minutes of possession and just 104 total yards of offense. The Maulers with 17 minutes of possession, but about the same amount of yards, 106 yards of offense. So neither team really lighting it up here. 2 top defenses playing very well. To the 3rd quarter we go, and Pittsburgh getting the ball to start at their own 35-yard line. Troy Williams under center. A taunting penalty and a pass interference helps the Maulers get to the New Jersey 35-yard line with absolutely no offensive yards gained, all on penalties. A couple of short plays from there, and the Maulers stall at the New Jersey 28-yard line. Here comes the kicking unit again to try from 47, which they hit earlier, but this one was no good. It was a low-line drive. New Jersey taking over on their own 37. 11:01 to go in the 3rd. Defense stiffening up when they had to, putting the Maulers in a situation where the field goal, not necessarily a gimme. It's DeAndre Johnson now back in at quarterback. A pass interference against Pittsburgh and 3 runs. Jersey's already on the 35-yard line of the Maulers, but they found themselves unable to further advance from there. An ineligible man downfield and a false start contributing to the stall. So in comes Nick Skiba again, this one from 47, and it's good. New Jersey leading 6-3, 7-play drive, 34 yards, 4:36 off the clock. We've got 6:32 to go in the 3rd. Still a tight ball game, 6-3. After the kickoff, with the Maulers still very much in this game, they take over on their own 41-yard line and could only gain 9 yards before having to punt. However, a 12-man on the field penalty against the Generals kept the Maulers on the field. That penalty has to burn Coach Riley, because I know that eliminating those bad drive extending penalties that plagued this team last year was something that they've been working on to eliminate. They've done a decent job of it, but not on this play. So with new life on the drive from the New Jersey 45, Williams strings together a couple of passes and runs, converting a 3rd and 12 along the way to get back inside the red zone yet again. However, the Maulers could get no closer than the 12, so on comes the kicking unit again to try to tie the game.
And this snap goes right past the holder. Now Herlahai, he's going to pick it up. He's on the run, and he is brought down. There's nowhere for him to escape to. Out to the 42, it's Christian Tutt.
From 29 yards out, the kicker never had a chance, though, as the snap literally rolled to and past the holder, who never got his hands on it. Maulers fall on the ball on the New Jersey 42-yard line. Generals hold again, and that's where the 3rd quarter ends. New Jersey up 6-3, and both teams still searching for the game's first touchdown. 4th quarter rolls around, and here comes Dakota Prukop again, facing a 3rd and 5 from his own 47, and he goes deep for Cam Eccles-Looper, 25 yards downfield at the Pitt 28. Cam came up gimpy for a moment on the play, called for some assistance, but eventually walked off and did return to the game shortly thereafter. 3 Davis runs, a Marcus Green end around, and the Generals are banging on the door. From there, it was Dakota Prukop looking for Cam Eccles-Looper.
Go!
Crew Cop fakes to the outside, swings it. Cam Eccles looper with the lane and lay it out for the end zone. Touchdown. We finally get a touchdown. The Generals, the first score of the day into the end zone.
Looper with the touchdown, leaping into the end zone. PAT is good. First touchdown of the game. And with 11 minutes to go now, New Jersey has seized control, going up by 10. 13-3. It was an 8-play drive, 58 yards, 4-14 used up on that drive. After the kickoff, the Maulers now facing a 2nd and 10 from their own 25-yard line. And here comes the next big turning point of the game.
Morgan tries to get it to Madre London. That is Hercules Mataafa, who just about had a touchdown on the reception. Was that pass backwards? That's the question.
Hercules Mataafa with the big play. He tipped the ball as Morgan did indeed throw it backwards and recovers it on the 1-yard line where it was ruled New Jersey's ball. And blessed with this good fortune, one play later for New Jersey, it's Darius Victor.
So cut back on the field from the 1. Give it to Victor, and Victor into the end zone, no problem. Maybe take that ball over to Hercules and let him spike it.
That's what I would do. That's inside. And Darius Victor, I mean, he almost was going to walk in.
One play, 4-second drive. The PAT is good. New Jersey leads 20-3 with 9:58 to go. And you have the sense that the Maulers are done. From there, it was just a matter of containing the game for New Jersey. Paris Ford intercepted Morgan on the ensuing drive, just 3 plays in, and it's now 8.5 minutes to go with the Generals firmly in control. Maulers falling apart now on the next drive that they received the ball. 3 plays later, they fumble, forced by Render. Nice play by him, recovered by Hercules. Again, his second recovery of the day. And in a 1-minute span, 2 turnovers and a New Jersey touchdown completes the knockout blow. The Generals ate up the last 4 minutes of the game, kneeling it down on the Pittsburgh 1, and they close out their first win of the season. 20-3 is your final score. New Jersey wins it. They move to 1-1, staying a game back of the Michigan Panthers, who they face next week in Ford Field. The Maulers falling to 0-2 and dangerously on the edge of another season like last year, staring them in the face. Checking the Generals statistics for the game, DeAndre Johnson, 9 of 13, passing for 100 yards. Dakota Prukop, 4 of 8 for 36 yards, and he did have the touchdown strike to Cam Eccles Looper. On the ground, it was Darius Victor, 15 carries for 71 yards and the 1-yard score. He almost had a second touchdown, but was ruled down at the 1 right at the end of the game. Kingston Davis, 8 carries, 21 yards, and he did lose the 1 fumble. Marcus Green showed a couple of nice moves, 4 carries for 14 yards. Receiving, Cam Eccles Looper, 4 catches, 57 yards, and the touchdown. He is our, generally speaking, player of the game for week 2. Braden Bowman with 2 grabs for 44 yards. I asked Eccles Looper what it was like to contribute on offense this year with 9 catches through 2 games, and this is what he had to say.
Man, I'm just blessed to be able to earn Coach Riley and Coach Smith's trust, just to be out there, honestly. It's coming into the year was a lot of, how we're going to replace Turp, how we're going to replace the MVP. Well, it's a collective group. It's the whole receiving core as a whole. That's how we're going to replace them. And just to be honest with you, man, it's just a blessing to be out here and a blessing to be able to play for Coach Riley again.
Defensively for the Generals, it was Chris Orr leading the way, 10 tackles, 4 of those of the solo variety. Don't forget also Hercules Mataafa. He had the 2 big fumble recoveries. The D-backs had a nice game. Paris Ford with the interception, the defensive line bringing the pressure all day, and New Jersey comes out with a 20-3 win, allowing no touchdowns and feeling pretty good about themselves after last week's game. Kicking, Nick Skiba. Let's give it up for Nick Skiba. He has solidified the position with 2 field goals, 2 extra points. He is perfect on the season, finishing with 8 points on the afternoon. Brock Miller had a nice game punting, better than a week ago. He had 3 kicks, and his long was a 52-yarder. Highlights courtesy of Fox and the USFL. Thank you, as always, for use of your audio and video. That is it for this week's edition of Generally Speaking Postgame Show. We are back on Saturday on Fox Sports New Jersey Radio, 93.5 FM and 1450 AM with the Generals pregame show, getting you ready for Sunday's big game now against the first place 2-0 Michigan Panthers, happening at Ford Field next week. Until then, make sure you follow me on Twitter at NJ_Generals. and follow our parent account at USFL Today on Twitter and on YouTube. Thanks for listening. We will see you next week.